Hello. Thank you for joining us here at Spiritually Speaking at First Unity Spiritual Campus.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning to both of
Good
you.
morning. Good morning. My father used to get up in the morning and sing that song every day.
Oh, how awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Morning. What was that from?
I don't know.
Morning,
It's
good
some
morning.
Broadway show, I
Yeah,
think.
I
probably.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
Remember one of those old Disney
You should know.
shows. Well, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. We are so happy that you are here wherever you are around the world. And please do us a favor when you sign on. Please share, do a little share party, let people watch. We have so many people who watch. It's amazing.
I know. It's so fun, isn't it? It's so fun to see who's watched
it
and
is.
from where.
I got tickled because actually I think it was like 2 weeks ago when we left here, we had more people who signed on to watch this than we actually when church started this morning service. But thank you very much for joining us. And if you'll put in the comment section where you're from, we'd love to send you a gift. There's been lovely little love gifts sent all around the country. We haven't had anybody sign in from across the big water. So if you're across the big water, put us in there where you're from.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Because even if you watch on Monday morning, because that's the time zone you're in, put where you're from in. Don't think that you had to watch it
Exactly.
live.
We'd
to put
love
where
to
you're
see
from.
where you're from,
If you
yes.
watch it later because you're not in our time zone, still put it where you're from, and we'll send it across.
Because it's not until Tuesday morning until when I get back into my office that I check where
There
that
you go.
is from. So they've got
There
till
you go.
Tuesday morning.
Awesome. So this week it's all about love. It's the 4th week of Advent. Love is the subject. So, go ahead and take your hand and put it over your heart.
Yes.
This time during the holiday times, love is so prevalent. It's everywhere around. And sometimes this is a tender time for many, many people because you've gone through loss or challenges during the holidays. Especially the older we are, I think the more that comes into play, that we've had life experiences around the holidays and they become fresh in our hearts, so our hearts may be tender and even broken.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to honor that space and still radiate out that love.
And people often say, so-and-so did something awful to me. How am I supposed to love them? Love and like are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can not like the actions of even yourself sometimes, but still walk in that essence of love because it's God.
Absolutely.
I often said, just because you divorce someone doesn't mean you have to hate them.
Mm-hmm.
You can still walk in love and wish them the best and walk in that energy because that's so much more productive.
And I like to invite people to try it on. Try it, because what happens is when say you divorce someone or you feel like you've been hurt,
Family member.
when you come into a place of recognizing energetically that you want to love that
Yes.
person. Like you said, you don't have to like what their behavior is, but you see the love in them. Something energetically, chemically changes within your being, and you start feeling better. So it's really important. You do. And other than how some people will hold a grudge, and then it just tears up at you, and then they you may not feel
Absolutely.
good. So it's really important to open up your heart. I always like to say, crack your heart right open.
Yep.
It so
Like,
is.
be willing to say, I like to say, show me how to love.
Yes.
Reverend Tim and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago because I was having a conversation with someone else, and I was talking about the energy of hate.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I've never, ever used the word hate. It's just not something that I say, excuse me, that I hate someone or I hate this or I hate that, because I just don't vibrate on that energy level. Some things can drive me crazy, trust me. But I very seldom use the word hate, and I say it just changes the energy level.
Absolutely.
And walking in love does change the energy level. As we've said, you don't have to like something, but love in your heart. The essence, because when you're looking at someone else, I always say you're looking at a mirror of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are walking in hate of someone, or if you're walking in great dislike of someone, you're walking in dislike of yourself.
Yes.
Yes. And it vibrates.
Yep.
It's
It does.
in your
Yes.
being. It's
It
in your being.
vibrates us up, and then that brings to mind when you were talking, I was thinking of the great and fabulous Wayne Dyer, the quote he has, love is forgiving and love is forgiving.
Giving.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and wasn't that a great quote?
I love
that
Wayne
was such
Dyer,
a great
yes.
quote, because love is forgiving and love is forgiving. So when you find yourself giving love, even when someone has hurt you or put you through a challenging situation or a challenging time in your life, when you can forgive them and then give back love, it's you that reaps the benefits of that. Absolutely,
right.
100%. Every time. And like Richard said, when you take those words, those lower vibration emotional words out of your vocabulary and just don't even have them in your thoughts or in your speech, then you're lifting yourself up.
Yep. It's amazing though, because love is such a healing property. It's such a blessing property. And what Kimberly said is absolutely true. It's just like when we're teaching tithing, it's not about just giving money. It's about creating an energy. Because if you don't do the action of giving, you don't know how to receive.
Absolutely.
And that's what people...
Be a good receiver, yes.
I've taught people that in an abundance class. You have to learn and process to give love to ever receive love.
You have to know what it feels like.
Yes, yes.
And if you don't think you know what it feels like, then just pray. Say, I want to know how that feels like. I wanted to give you an example years ago of this exact thing, what we're talking about. Christmas time, my grandson then, and I won't say how old he is now, Michael, precious
3.
Michael, he was 4 years old, and just the pouty little, beautiful little child. He was adorable. But they were throwing a ball in my house, and my house was never child friendly because it just wasn't.
Because you're an interior designer.
So Christmas, it was before everybody came over, and I had this beautiful glass sculpture that was one of a kind. I won't mention how much it was worth, but it was gifted to me by somebody very dear. So it was high, away from the kids, on a shelf. Well. My husband said, Michael, don't throw the ball. And then his daddy said the same thing. And then I'm in the kitchen cooking and crash. It was, I have chills. It was that moment that I felt unconditional love for this child because I recognized, and my Ron always says, I don't like your behavior, kids, but I love you. And I recognized, because when he had tears coming down, he felt so bad, and I didn't want him to carry, to own that. So I held him and I said, oh no, you're so much more precious than anything, which is the truth. My personal experience was this feeling of unconditional love that you just can't even describe. Like, I just wanted to hold him. And to this day, he recognized what I did and doesn't feel bad. I mean, he feels remorseful that he didn't listen about throwing the ball in the house, but he knew what he felt like as a child. He remembered. So that was a big lesson for me years ago, to love and because the person on the other end may not even know that he didn't know that he was hurting me. He just wanted to play ball in the house. That's what 4-year-olds do.
Absolutely, they do.
And love is an amazing thing. And we're not talking about. We're talking about the agape love.
Yeah. Yes.
The love that actually is the essence of our soul, which is different than being in love with someone.
Absolutely.
I love you all, but I don't want to be tongue-tied with it.
And you could have the agape love.
Y'all got that, didn't you?
You can have the agape love with your spouse, your partner.
Yeah.
Okay, you can, because
Right.
I know that feeling very well.
And that's
yes.
beautiful.
We know
that's
that you and Reverend Ron absolutely model that so wonderfully to our community.
Oh,
You do.
yeah.
You do.
It's the relationships, I think it was Course in Miracles. There's the infatuation stage, then there's the homemaking stage, or having kids, settling in. Then there's the career stage, and that career stage is where you grow. Each partner grows at their own level.
Yep.
So and we went through that stage, because I would be here, he would be here, then he would be here. And then it's called the soul level stage. So we look at each other, we know we've gotten older, we just start cracking up laughing. Like, we just, what are we doing here? It's just, life is funny.
Well, it's like when you first get together, someone does an eye roll, you get all in a tizzy. Why are you rolling your eyes at me? And when you've been together a long time, you do an eye roll, you just go.
you get
roll
into,
those dice.
I mean, two people that live together and work together 24/7 have to have a disagreement or an argument once in a while.
I mean, it'd be boring if you didn't.
Right. But you get to the point where he'll do something like, it's silly, like leave something right there. And every day, it's like, can you put that away? It's right in the middle of my living room, And
You said right in the middle of my living room.
my living my
Her
house.
white living room.
It's my house, my bed. And the thing of it is I start telling him, Ron, and he looks at me and starts laughing. He's like, you're not going to argue with me. So, but we both do that to each other. And so it becomes fun because really you get to the point, truly I hope everybody gets to that point at any age that they get it. Like nothing is more important than caring about the other person, period, in relationships.
Absolutely, and showing the love.
You have
there's
that
nothing
with
more
Paul.
important than showing the love, no matter how whatever they did in the moment might have irritated you, or the love overrides it.
We
and
don't
you,
irritate people.
You know it's not worth it. You learn. When you come to that age,
Yep.
I promise you do.
No
you come to that age when you realize it's not worth it.
Right.
Love is the most important thing.
I was going to say, no matter how ridiculously annoying it could be with my ridiculously amazing husband.
But you know what though? You would, if something would happen, those are things you actually end up missing. Oh, I miss the way that.
Oh, right.
Absolutely.
Right. So you know what I do, and you brought that up. What I do is, when I'm busy doing something, working, whatever, I open up the cabinet doors looking for something, and I'll leave them open. Does that bug you? Because I
Yes,
do that.
yes.
I do that. So
Sometimes the hallway here in the office is that way.
Right.
Think
I
about
go through
things
slam,
you
slam,
do
slam,
that
slam.
just aggravate, just
So
to see.
I come strolling in the kitchen, and there's Ron just being Ron being as serious he can. Start laughing. Oops, I forgot. So I said, it's so easy, honey. You just have to do this. But I might do it several hours later. Well, we were home shopping, and a realtor. We were in this huge kitchen, and Ron said, "Oh no, this is too big for us.
Too many cabinets for me to close.
Too many doors."
He told the realtor said, "What do you mean it's too big for you?" First of all, I don't cook, so I use cabinets for my.
So why are you in
No,
the
listen,
kitchen?
because I have a purse cabinet that I use.
Speaking of love.
Because I don't cook. He said, yeah, that's Maria. He goes, this is what Maria will do. And he opened them, and the realtor said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, several years ago, my wife had a life-threatening illness, and we made it through. But my wife does what Maria does. And he says, now when I go in the kitchen, and she left, she made a cup of coffee, left the door open on the cabinet. He says, I have this big smile because she's still with me,
Oh.
And that was endearing to Ron because, that's why he laughs. He's like, oh, there goes Maria with the kid.
See, that's what you just have to
Right?
hold your
Was
heart
that an endearing
and
story?
enjoy that
Yeah.
tender moment.
But I never got the big kitchen.
I would say, I ask you at home, we're starting into the Christmas week.
Yeah.
Go into this week taking a deep breath in and exhale. Breathe in that love that God has for you in your heart, but be prepared. I'm going to ask you to be prepared to share that love with whoever you spend the holiday with.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Walk in that energy of unconditional love. Because if they drive you crazy on Christmas Day, you can write that on a piece of paper at the Burning Bowl service.
Absolutely.
and let it go.
So I have to say, spiritually speaking, we have a fabulous week coming up for
Yes.
you. Tomorrow is the winter solstice. And not only is it the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, and we will be doing a live stream service at 6 p.m. Reverend Dr. Aileen and I will be doing that with our First Unity Voices and our First Unity Dancers. But it's also a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction.
Wow.
So all that energy is coming together, and they're conjuncting at 0 degrees, which creates the Star of Bethlehem. So the skies will replicate the night of Jesus' birth. And the last time it did that was about 800 years ago. So that comes around every 800 years or so. So I think it's the only time it's going to happen in your lifetime. So make sure you're out there enjoying that energy. Come enjoy us on this live stream, and then go out and enjoy that Star of Bethlehem, because it's tomorrow night is when that Star of Bethlehem will be bright in the sky. Then Thursday night, it's Christmas Eve. We will be in Williams Park with a concert and more. It's going to be such an amazing spiritual experience. Reverend Richard will be honoring Hanukkah on the platform. Reverend Christy will be honoring Kwanzaa. I will be honoring winter solstice, and Reverend Temple will be bringing a Christmas message for the world. Last year she brought that message from Carnegie Hall, and this year she's home to bring it from St. Petersburg, Florida. You don't want to miss it. And then Sunday, January 3rd, we have that Burning Bowl service again in Williams Park. And we're doing those services in Williams Park so everyone can come out and experience them live. We'll also live stream them, but you can come out and experience them live. So if you've been hungering for that, you can safely social distance. The stage is safely social distance because they have a fence around the front of it, so no one can get too close to the stage. So no worries about social distancing and whether it's a safe event or not, because it absolutely is. So come on out and enjoy those on tomorrow night, live stream, Christmas Eve in Williams Park, and January 3rd in Williams Park.
How fabulous for Unity to have all of these wonderful activities for us, and love activities.
And maybe since some of our beaches have been closed, part of the beach season, you can bring that beach chair and sit on a beach chair
absolutely.
or on a blanket.
I failed to mention that. You do need to bring your own chairs and blankets, because we're not putting chairs out. You'll bring your own chairs to sit in. And on Christmas Eve, Judy Stanko from Spice Routes Cafe is donating dinner. She's made big pots of stew. She's going to have cookies and hot cider there. So come on out around 5 o'clock, find your perfect space, have dinner, and then at 6 o'clock, the spectacular will begin.
And I will also to encourage you, if you're at the end of the year and you need your last little tax break, that you can, of course, text to give and all that, but also to that night, we will have the opportunity for you to give that night there at the park. So be prepared.
Yes.
And remember that even if there's a stranger at that night or this week, somebody you don't know, touch your heart, feel that love, and share it with you.
Absolutely.
It makes you feel so amazing. This is what Christmas is about, that rebirth of who we are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We'll say this in closing. Remember, God loves you and we love you, and go about your week and be blessed and be prepared to give love and receive love. We love you.
We love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Keeps on lifting me, keep on lifting me higher, higher.
There's the giving of love, and there's often the act of giving of love also through financial support.
You love your spiritual community, and you show it in a myriad of ways. One of the top ways to support your spiritual campus during the time when our doors are closed but our hearts are open, we continue our operations through your continued financial support and love offerings. And the easiest way to do that is using text to give, and we are forever grateful for your support.